So this is just a little end of year rant on a couple things. This has been a strange year on many fronts, but in terms of streaming, I do want to say that it has been slightly more productive. Anyway, I just want to run my thoughts on two things. And I cannot believe I'm going there. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the exiled Duke and Duchess of Sussex, a couple with titles but no castle, a couple whose main focus seemed to be trying to ride the wave of victimhood to celebrity. They released a 6-part Netflix reality show, docu-series, that's the new fancy name for it, okay. In it, it was nothing but rants, lies. Oh God. Okay, I can't do this. I just can't stand those people. I really can't stand those people. I just want to say, Black people, know thyselves. This is not our cause, and this is not the hill for us to die on. This is a woman, and this is especially for Black women. That woman does not represent us. This is a woman who's lived her entire life as a white sorority girl with a tan, who has benefited from her proximity to whiteness her whole life, whose status in life is the direct result of being white passing. She wouldn't be where she is if she didn't look white enough for people to believe she was just a white girl with a nice tan. You cannot seriously believe this woman represents the Black female experience. And there are so many things wrong with this story. This woman is not a victim of evil white races. She is a victim of her poor character, her diva-like antics, her shallow ambitions, grand ambitions that are not anchored to talent or substance. She is a victim of her own machinations. Please stop believing everything she says. Most of what she says is not anchored in reality. I know we live in a post-truth world where it's my truth versus the truth. But maybe it's time for us to start considering the truth. Meghan Markle is not contributing anything to Black communities. Sadly, Prince Charles and the Prince's Trust has done far more for Black people in Britain and the world than Meghan Markle ever has. What people like Meghan Markle does, is that proper English? What people like Meghan Markle are about are themselves and exploiting victimhood and race and racial sensitivities and people's gullibilities for her own personal, professional, and financial gain. This woman is not relieving racial tensions. She's contributing to it. She is exacerbating it. Please stop defending this woman. I know. She was your ticket to your princess dreams, your princess avatar. All your life you just wanted to live vicariously through her. And yes, she looks white and is white passing, but hey, you'll take whatever you can get, right? And when she failed miserably because she has poor character and was ill-suited for royal life. She was ill-suited for royal life, and well, she blamed it on race, because God forbid it could be anything else. God forbid it could be her poor character, a woman who has a long list of failed relationships in her past. Where is her last matron of honor? Where is her first matron of honor? 2 of them, she's estranged from all of them. She's estranged from all of her mother's family members, all of her father's family members, all of her in-laws. She seemed to ingratiate herself to wealthy and famous privileged people that she barely knows, which should tell you everything about her priorities. Not family, not friends. She uses and discards people when they no longer serve a purpose. This is not a trait of a good person. She also seemed to have a penchant for plagiarism, plagiarizing the clothes, the words, the quotes, and even the lived experiences of women she admires. Chief on her list seemed to be Princess Diana and Angelina Jolie. That, I'm not a psychiatrist, but that to me suggests some degree of more than just narcissism, but also psychopathy. When Diana was pregnant, she wanted to kill herself. So when I was pregnant, I wanted to kill myself too. Imagine telling your spouse that the only reason you haven't killed yourself is because you don't want him to lose another woman in your life, knowing this man is emotionally stunted, that he's never gotten over the death of his mother. You convinced him you are the second coming of his mother. And yes, you want to kill yourself like his mother, and the only reason you're doing it is because of him. No, that's completely normal. Completely normal. What I've seen of this woman is that there is a delusion of grandeur, a belief that she should be globally famous and recognized even when she has done nothing to justify it, nothing to warrant it. She lacks the talent, the substance, the charisma, although you can't tell her that. She's just the greatest thing ever and she just wants to save you. This woman keeps going around telling the story about how when she was 12, she led a one-child girl campaign against Procter & Gamble to get them to change a dishwasher commercial. She and she alone did that. By the way, the video was actually arranged by her father, and it was a recreation, just like almost everything else that appears in this Netflix series. All those paparazzi shots you see of paparazzi swarming these famous women. No such video of Meghan Markle exists. There are lots of stage videos of her calling her husband to tell him that paparazzi are following her, but there was never any video evidence of it. I just have this feeling that for this woman, she just wanted that existence where the paparazzi were just throwing themselves at her. The public just adored her and everyone just wanted a piece of her. And she was like, oh, please stop. It's just like Diana. It's just like Diana. Paparazzi everywhere. She never got that. There are comical videos of her doing yoga outside a gym, waiting to be photographed. There are videos of her walking back and forth outside of the newspaper offices of The Sun and the Daily Mail waiting for them to photograph her. There are lone paparazzi shots where she clearly called the paparazzi. This woman has a long illustrated or illustrious reputation for going to high-end establishments and demanding the best of everything because she's such a very important person. Lots of stories of people being in restaurants only to have her come in with burly security guards who tell people a very important person has just entered the establishment and we would rather you not take photographs of her. It's delusional. But hey, you fall for that. Why would you fall for this? Okay, your princess dreams were crushed when this ill-suited woman, get that suits, ill-suited woman failed as a royal. And it doesn't bother you that she blamed her drop of black ancestry for her failures. It reminds me of another psychopath, a young man named Elliot Rodgers, the supreme gentleman who was half Asian but hated his Asian heritage. He hated it so much because he blamed it as the reason for why blonde white girls did not want to date him. So in his own memoir, he documents an incident where he's at a party and he sees a full Asian male talking to a blonde white girl and flirting with her, and it made him so angry because he thought it was his Asian heritage that denied him the blonde white girls he always wanted. So what did he do? He approached the couple and tried to bump the Asian male out of his way. Most of his victims appear to have been non-white males like himself. His two roommates, who were full Asians, suffered the worst fate at his hands. They were stabbed multiple times in their sleep as a kind of exorcism for him destroying what he hated, what he blamed for his troubles, his black heritage. Now, I'm not saying this woman is going to hate her black heritage that much. I'm saying this is a woman who clearly blames it for whenever she fails. I mean, what other reason could it be for why she's not worshipped as the second coming? It has to be because of her black heritage, right? I mean, what other reason could there be? God forbid, it's a question of character. God forbid, please, she's perfect. She's the most charming, intelligent, well-spoken person in the world. What possible reason could you have to not worship her? It's because of rage and jealousy and racism. That's the only reason why you don't worship her. I mean, she's not saying she doesn't want to be black. I mean, for her, racism was never something she experienced, her own words. She never experienced any form of racism. She repeats this over and over in the podcast, in the Netflix series. It was not her personal experience. Her only experiences of racism were objective and anecdotal concerning her mother. Her mother was mistaken for her nanny. The teacher told her to say she was white on the census. Her mother was called the N-word while leaving a concert. She herself never experienced any of that. And I've seen black women go, well, she's always talking about being biracial, mixed race. Sure, she has. But that's because she didn't see it as impacting her existence. After all, most people she met thought she was white. And it never impacted her in any way, shape, or form. So for her, it was just a story she told, an anecdote she used. Until, of course, the British press decided to hold her to it. Now, suddenly, they were just talking about how she was mixed race and how great this was. And it made her uncomfortable because this was never something she cared for on any kind of personal, real level. After all, her lived experience was that of a white girl. So why are they trying to get her to be a mixed girl now? She just wanted to keep it at a distance. Now, and I'm not saying, this isn't a problem. It's a problem I see with a lot of white liberals. There's a film from years ago called Spinning into Butter that stars Sarah Jessica Parker and some other people. It's about a race incident at a small liberal arts college somewhere in Vermont. And in it, a dark-skinned black male student is the victim of racist graffiti and name calling and death threats. It spawns, a fallout. You have the typical loudmouth black student body people and Black Lives Matter type organization calling for justice. And, Sarah Jessica Parker plays like the assistant to the dean whose job it is to fix everything. She's the fixer. Fix everything. Let's handle this with the media. Let's get everything settled. The plot twist is that it's revealed a black student faked his own hate crime. That's actually quite normal today, but the plot twist is that he faked his own hate crime. Because why not? A lot of this happens. It happens more than you think. But when Sarah Jessica Parker's character confronts him about why he would do that, his response was simple. I'm tired of the pandering. You go out of your way to be nice to me. You go out of your way to tell me how great I am. You go out of your way to smile at me. It's pandering. It's not natural. I feel as if, you're condescending, you're pandering. It doesn't feel real, and I'm tired of it. It's fake. So that was his reason, because he's tired of fake white people. White liberals have a tendency to do stuff like this. To prove how not racist they are, they tend to go above and beyond to highlight your race and ethnicity. And it makes even a black woman like me feel uncomfortable. So imagine a white passing mixed race woman like Meghan Markle, for whom being mixed race was never of any consequence, except that it was a story she told anecdotally about her mother being a victim. It was just too much. But the British press was so desperate to prove how not racist they are. See, we have a mixed race princess. It drove me mad at the time. Stop saying she's a black princess. I was one of the few people in the world who knew who she was prior to Harry, because I used to watch Suits and follow her on social media. It drove me mad because it was obvious that this woman, that was not her lived experience, and she did not want that to be her lived experience. She thought she could control it, perhaps, the way she did initially, using it anecdotally, but objectively, not her experience, but someone I know. She didn't realize that it would become what they used to define her. So, no, I can give her that. Straight Outta Compton, one of the handful of 5 headlines that they used to prove that everything was racist. Imagine taking 5 headlines out of thousands as proofs that everything is racist. It doesn't make any sense. But they like doing this over and over. See, Straight Outta Compton, some random DJ somewhere that no one has ever heard of, posted a image of a male and a male in drag and a monkey. See, they called their baby a monkey. No, they didn't. This is the over-sensationalization of these kind of racism in the media. No, I'm not saying these things are okay, but you're trying to exploit them, to blow them out of proportion. Look, I don't care if someone hates me because of race. In fact, I don't even care if people hate me. I don't. You can't make everyone love you. You can be the most perfect person in the world, and it doesn't mean everyone is going to love you. You can take 10 people into a room and you say to those 10 people, tell me why you dislike X, and you will get 10 different responses. The problem with the media is if one of those responses is racist, they automatically use it as proof that the hatred is due to racism, dismissing the other 9 responses that are not about racism. It's over-sensationalized. Maybe Meghan Markle did feel a way about certain things. But the truth of the matter is that all of this feels like what it is. It feels like a woman who, rather than accept her failures, including a failure of character, diva-like antic, clearing the royal box at Wimbledon to accommodate her for privacy. No, imagine being a paid spectator at Wimbledon in the royal box only to be told, sorry, you have to be booted because Meghan Markle is coming through. And then, minding your own business, taking your selfie and having Meghan Markle's security show up to accost you because, hey, she thinks you're taking photos of her. Apparently this was very common for this woman. These kind of diva-like antics. Read Nanaki Pretty's interview as to why their friendship ended, because this woman has so many failed relationships, so many failed friendships, so many failed, no ties to any family. And what she said to her niece was just cruel. If you believe the reason Ashley Hale, the niece of Meghan Markle, was not at the royal wedding was because the Eva royals told Meghan not to invite her, then you are not very smart. Hey, by the way, I'm selling a plot of land on Venus. I think you would be a perfect candidate for it. Of course. No. Anyway, this seems to be a woman who likes to punish people who don't give her what she wants. And if she has to bring race and racism into it, then she's going to do it. The problem is, like Jussie Smollett, this undermines people who are real victims of racism. And it makes race relations worse. It exacerbates. It gives critics and racists a valid reason to dismiss actual claims of racism. And you supported Meghan Markle only contribute to that. People like Her Royal Highness, Dr. Shola, descended from a long line of Nigerian royals, are not helping. This is not helping any black people in any way, shape, or form. Now, I have rambled on my feelings about black victimization before, and I will continue to ramble on it. Black victimization narratives hurt black people more than actual anything else. Because not only is it psychologically traumatic to remain in a perpetual state of being a victim, but then you have those who exploit that for their own professional and financial gain. And then you have black victimization, which leads to further victimization caused by the resentment that many people may feel having to deal with black people. Why would you blame them? Why would they want to deal with many black people in their wherever place or spaces when it will make it feel as if they're walking on eggshells? Who wants to walk on eggshells? No, the point I'm making is black people and black women. Meghan Markle is not our salvation. She is not she's not a sister. I know, it's hard to believe. She is not a victim of evil, vile races. She's a victim of her own ego, her own narcissism, her own arrogance, her lack of substance. Anyway, that's just one of my end of year thoughts that I wanted to get out, because really, I'm tired of this person. She keeps saying over and over, no one knows who I am. I have my voice back now. I just want to show people the real me. And she's been showing us the real me for a while now. Netflix podcast, interviews in The Cut, Variety, Oprah interview, no takers. It seems this woman's problem is that the version of her she wants you to accept does not reconcile with the version of her real people see. In her mind, she's just this talented, charismatic, charming, down-to-earth, smart, intelligent humanitarian. What most people see when they listen to her, when they watch her, is a calculating, manipulative, narcissistic, substance-free, egotistic grifter. And there's no two ways to reconcile that, but she won't accept it. You must love her. Everyone must worship her. And she will continue to insist that the real problem is that you just don't know who she really is. And she will continue to insist that she just needs to show you who she is. And then, if you don't accept it, it's because you're an evil, vile, misogynistic racist. I mean, what other reason would you have for not accepting this talented, beautiful, gifted, charismatic woman? Anyway, that's my year of end. End of year. Sorry, my brain is really fogged right now. I can't say the reason, but yes, that is my end of year rant on this situation. I said what I said. I said what I said.